Hi everyone, and welcome back to another online Jiu-Jitsu workout class. As usual, we hope everybody is doing well, staying safe and healthy in these continuing COVID pandemic times. And we have actually hit a milestone with these online classes because it was March 24th last year when we first started these classes, when our dojo first closed down. And we have now passed a year of online classes, something very unexpected. We didn't expect to be doing this back in March 2020 when we started it. But here we are, and we're doing well, and we're managing to keep students active and engaged, and we will continue to have this as a service into the future as people need it. As a mark of time passing, we can have a look at the first class is still from the first class and how long my beard was then, and now look at it now. It is very long compared to when I started. So I haven't cut it since then, and this is an indication of the year of online classes that we have had. Okay, so let's get ready for class. Mox up. So you mate. Onigashmasu. Up. Okay. Hands on your hips, head to the right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Hantai, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Head back, down, back, down, back, down, back, down. Look right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, left, tilt right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, any way you need it. Shoulders forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, reverse, ich, ni, san, shi, go, alternating, ich, ni, san, shi, go, reverse, ich, ni, san, shi, go, elbows up, back, ich, knee, san, forward, ich, knee, san, forward, ich, knee, san, forward, reverse, ich, knee, san, back, ich, knee, san, back, ich, knee, san, back. Left hand on your belt, right hand forward, ich, knee, san, shi, go, reverse, ich, knee, san, shi, go, untie, ich, knee, san, shi, go, reverse, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Natural stance, both arms in, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Reverse, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Left hominy, right arm in, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Out, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Shake it in, shake it out, side to side, punch. Untie, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Out, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Shake it in, shake it out, side to side, punch. Natural stance, elbows against your chest, both arms in, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Out, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Shake them in, shake them out, side to side, double punch. Hips to the right, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Reverse, ich, knee, san, shi, go. Stretch back. Forward. Back hands overhead. Forward. Chest to your right knee, ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hutch, ku, ju. Left, ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hutch, ku, ju. Ready for torso rotations to the right. Ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hutch, ku, ju. Untie, ich, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And standing split, elbows to the mat. Rocking, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Back on your heels. Pivot left. Right. Left center. Rocking. Back on your heels again. Pivot left. Thigh. Come up into Shikadachi. Breathe in. Hips forward, breathe out, hips back. Keep your elbows locked, push out on your knees. In. Out. In. Out. Drop your right shoulder, look at your right fingers. Thigh. 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 Extend your right foot for side kick. Thigh. Thigh, toes up. Thigh. 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 Thigh all the way down. Thigh. 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 And drop into hurdler stretch if you got it. Don't jeopardize your knees. Do something else if this doesn't work for you. Forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Hand thigh. Forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And thigh, foot in front if you got it. Forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, and die, and forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, forward, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, twist, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, yame, feet in front. If you can, pick them up, otherwise reach deep. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju, reach deeper. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, and ju. Sit up straight, twist right, twist left, legs apart, pick up the ball on the floor in front of your belly, turn right, put it on your right foot, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Bring it back to the center, turn left, put it on your left foot, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Bring it back to center, put it on the floor in front of you, and push it out across the floor. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Back to right. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Left. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And center. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. And put your right elbow on the floor next to your right leg. And reach with your left arm. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Hand thigh. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Twist right, left, and bring them in together. Right over left, rotate your ankle and toes. Other direction. Massage, toes, ball of foot, instep and arch, heel, and up your calf. Shake, shake, shake. Cradle. Rocking. Stretch. Bring it over center. Put it down. On thigh. Rotate. Make sure you're rotating your toes as well as your ankle. Get as much flexibility in those toes as possible. Opposite direction. Massage, splay your toes. Instep, ball of foot first, instep and arch. Heel, and up the calf. Shake, shake, shake. Cradle it. Rocking. Stretch. Bring it over center and put it down. And yummy. Okay, next up is to do our jackknives. So get whatever position you need to be in. If you can do the back fall, do the back fall. Remember to do the jackknives correctly, not the accommodating way I have to do mine. Ready? Hey! And jackknives. Hajime. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, ju. And hand under the butt, scissors, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, ju. Leg raises, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, ju. Knees to chest, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, ju. Flutter kick, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, ju. Bring him up straight, feet on your belly. Fist by your cheekbones, legs slowly down. And relax. And head off the mat, right knee in. You can rotate your ankle if you like. Put it behind your knee, twist, put it down. Thigh. And hook it behind, twist and put it down. Yame, both knees in, rocking. Stretch. Heels in, bridge. Hands by your shoulders, push all the way up. And yame. And get yourself ready for push-ups. Again, if you can do the face fall, do so. Hey. Push-up position, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down, one more, head up, right leg up, down, left leg up, down, head down, back, scoop, back, down and hold it. Slowly down, relax. Up, day, and day, and day, and turn around, drop to one knee, and fix anything you need to fix. Left tummy, go to Gesh. Day. Dai, EQ, and Dai. So basically what we're doing is we're warming up the joint and stretching it each time it gets to the peak. And then when it's nicely warmed up and stretched, we just kind of park it there in the lock and get a little bit extra stretch. And Dai, EQ. Dai. And Dai. Thank you. This one we don't warm up, we just sit into it. Dai. Wrist should be warm by now anyway. And Dai, Shihanagi. Dai. Dai, finger wrist stretch. Dai. And shake it loose. Okay, let me just check something. I heard some emails come in just in case it's somebody having trouble. Nope, unrelated. Okay, get your space ready for a Tai Sabaki. Left foot forward, stepping in with the right. Ready, itch, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hatch, ku, ju, and Dai, itch, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hatch, ku, ju, and Dai, hands up, each step pivot, itch, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hatch, ku, ju, and Dai, itch, knee, san, shi, go, ruk, Stitch. Hatch. Q. Ju. And yummy. Okay, fit in for close the window. So I'm going to work diagonally. And what I want you to work on is feeling that when you get there, that you're going to be dropping forward as you apply, as opposed to dropping back with your butt and losing all your off balance on your opponent, or even just straight down. So even if I drop straight down, I'm not taking them to their off balance position. So the idea is, don't worry about the finessing. The start of it is to come in and drop towards your front leg, which means you have to bend both knees. One, you'll feel probably your back foot heel leave the ground before your front if you're doing it right, because you're pushing into that front. Just try it, don't overdo it, don't want to stress your knees, but just be aware of that's your final position. Ready? Hitch, back, knee, and back, san, and back, shi, and back, gu, and back, ruk, and back, sich, and back, hatch, and back, q, and back, ju, and back, and thigh. Same thing, opposite side, itch, and back, knee, and back, san, and back, shi, and back, gu, and back, ruk, and back, sich, and back, hatch, and back, q, and back, ju, and back. So we've talked before with things like Ippon Seinagi. We come in, we do our thing, we come down, and sometimes we want to fall forward, meaning that we have enough momentum to cause us to fall forward. Same thing here with this close the window. We come in and imagine ourselves falling forward onto that front knee. And that's a good way of making sure that all of your momentum is down and forward instead of down and back or just straight down. Okay, let's do stepping into the center, and something similar here in that your back foot coming with has to allow your front foot, your front knee to have most of the weight. So you're leaning into that kazushi on the shoulder that you're putting here. So one arm is just protecting your head, the other arm is coming to uke's shoulder, and then you want to use that forward knee drop to apply off balance to the shoulder. So your back foot will allow you to help you do that too. Don't worry about finessing it, just think about, again, if I was here and I wanted to drop onto that front knee, where would my body go? Not into the corner of the couch, hopefully. Okay, so starting with our left foot forward, stepping in with the right. Ready, hitch, and back. Knee, and back. San, and back. Shi, and back. Go, and back. Ruk, and back. Sich, and back. Hatch, and back. Q, and back. Ju, and back. And die. So there's a tendency with this to step in and just float the back foot and just have all your weight on the front foot. The problem with that is that Let me do it towards the camera so you can see. If I'm trying to just go up and down on this foot, I can't go forward without counterbalancing it in some way. So if my knee goes forward, my torso goes back, or this other one has to counterbalance. But if this is behind me and it's not floating, I can use it to push into that front knee. So now my center of gravity is here because they're sharing it. If I stop floating, if I start floating that back foot, I have to come back up a bit or I'll off balance. So that's how you achieve getting forward more, is actually by pushing, almost like the start of a hitch step, stopped dead. Right? So that's a way of achieving a little bit extra knee forward. Okay, so we're going to work on our Bokeh kata, or sword kata. So if you have a sword or Bokeh, get it ready. And we're going to start with our basic taking out of the sword. So again, your sword would go on the side of your hip. I don't have this tied onto my belt, obviously. So if this is your Bokeh, just choke it close to the suba, like this. And just make the fish mouth with your hand so you can slide it through. So if it's an actual sword, the first thing that happens, and no, you can't really see it's in silhouette, the first thing that happens is that you have to release it. There's a little lock there, so you pop it with your thumb. And again, I don't know if you can see that, but you can pop it just that much with your thumb. So that's would be your left arm. So we're going to be natural stance. Assume it's popped with your thumb. Turn it slightly out. So you're going to rotate it in this direction. Right? Turn it slightly out as you reach around to grab it. That way you can get your knuckles near the top of the blade. Otherwise you'll be upside down, right? So you want to turn it out and grab it. Use my hip, see? Now imagine you're leading with your elbow. It's going to come out as you step forward. And there are two ways to go from here. You could leave it turned out and come around the side. But my preference is, once I got into this position where it's withdrawn, I'm going to turn it back up and come out over the top. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this for now, and I'm going to pretend that I have that. So as I come out, I come over the top and I bring my back foot underneath me into hominy. A nice tight small hominy, so my two heels are lined up behind each other and I'm nicely distributed evenly onto both. So knuckles on top on both cases, so knuckle on top. So your knuckle, if you have a suba, to be up against it. Your rear hand goes behind, so there should be a gap between the two. So we can use that as a lever. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Ready? So actually start from here and turn it out, bring it out a little bit, turn it back up, come over the top, bring your back foot with you. And your final position, your elbow should be touching your torso and this should be coming out from your obi knot. Okay, so that's our first position. So now let's practice our basic Shomonucci. So again, I've mentioned to people that if you have something overhead that you can hit, you can't see it, but there's a soffit over here I can hit. that will give you the angle. So the angle doesn't want to be like this, right? You've lost a lot of potential energy by bringing your sword down. You want your sword to be at maximal potential energy, which is about here. Feels like it's straight up and down. So what I've always imagined is, oh, make it straight up and down, and I do this, and it's actually right around the 25 degrees that I want it to be. So that's something that you can work on. But if you have a wall you can stand up against, and you bring it up and you touch the wall with the tip of your sword, that's about right. You need to be able to see underneath your arm, or underneath your handle. And because of the knuckles on top, you should not be able to flare your arms too much, right? If you find your elbows are coming out, it probably means that you're rotating your arms around the grip as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just do a quick exercise, and it'll look like this. What we're going to do is we're going to keep our front hand in place and use our back hand, our left hand, to push down on the blade so it comes up. Right, so we're just doing that. Right, so imagine that your front hand isn't moving at all, right? It's just a fulcrum for this lever. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to push down and pull up at the same time. So now we've got a vertical, then we're going to raise it up in front of us until we can see underneath the hilt. And that should be approximately your perfect angle. Again, it should be slightly tipped back, and from here yeah, so you're going to have to work with whatever you can. Yeah, I can't actually see your head, but I guess what you're saying. So yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just bring it down. First bring the hilt down, and as it gets in front of your face, bring the rest of the sword forward and down and back into our chamber in front of our obi knot. So don't go down past the horizontal. Basically your chamber is throat height at the front of the blade, so you could poke your enemy in the throat if you need to. So when you make a cut, it wants to stop there. Now what you should experience is if you have your knuckles on top in the correct position, that as the blade comes down to basically horizontal, you should feel your forearms get really, really tense and not want to travel any further. So they can kind of act as the brake that stops that blade where you want it to stop. So we're just going to do that a few times. Now, if you can't raise it all the way up, that's fine. So again, tip it up, raise it up, drop the hilt, then cut, and dead stop. Tip it up, raise it up, drop the hilt, cut, dead stop. Tip it up, raise it up, drop the hilt, cut. Tip it up, raise it up, drop and cut. Tip it up, raise it up, drop and cut. Tip it up, raise it up, drop and cut. Tip it up, raise it up, drop, cut. Okay, so now we're just going to do that without the breaking down, so it'll basically be up, cut, up, cut. Yes? Let me turn on this light here so you can see better. So the knuckle should be like this on the top, So the knuckle of your finger should be coming up towards the suba, but the knuckle of your hand to finger joint is the top edge. Same with the back one. Right? So you should be able to line them both up. Right? Can you see that? Okay. So we're just going to do a bunch of cuts. I'm not going to overdo it because if you haven't been doing it for a while, this might make your arms very tired. So we're just going to be in our standard position. We're going to raise up and we're going to cut. And we're just going to do that 10 times. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, sich, hech, ku, ju, and yame. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, make sure I have the room for this, is we're going to raise it up, hitch step in and cut. And then raise it up and hitch step back and cut. So that should be that's your basic attack. You raise it up and you come in, taking a lot of distance, of course, with your hitch step if you have if you can. And as you come in, that's Shomonucci cut number 1. And then whatever cut we do, we always just rechamber back up here, back up, and cut defensively as we get back into position. That's just a standard from every cut, we do that. So we don't really include that in the count. We're talking about the Shomonucci, the first cut, and then this is just coming back to position. So let's do 10 like that. Ready, ich, and back, ni, and back, san, and back, shi, and back, gu, and back, ruk, and back, sich, and back, hech, and back, ku, and back, ju, and back, and yame. When we do our strikes, we want our strikes to have the full body drop into it and the full breath connecting our body together. So not only do we breathe out, I'm exaggerating, right, for the purpose of showing you, but imagine that this is a big step and everything lands at the same time. We lock our body together with that breath, our front knee drop, which is basically what I'm exaggerating is happening, and our attack all happen at the same time. So instead of doing a big step like I just did, boom, like that, we do a slide and knee drop. So you want that wham. You want everything you've got in every strike. Because we're assuming that each strike is a kill shot, right? That we don't need a second strike. So we want to be able to cut right through them with all our energy. And if that doesn't work, back out, come in, and do the next strike or whatever is needed. So just like punches, kicks, everything, you want to use your breath and your body drop in there. Okay, so we're going to do number 2. And number 2, I know it's complex. I'm not going to really judge you on it. I just want to get through it. So number 2, we come in on the left. We want to be nice and flat. And then back. So these cuts, 1 and 2 are not Shomonuccis. They're not cutting straight down the center. They're more Yomonuccis, which is cutting. So Yomen means side of head, right? So beside the head, shoulder neck joint. So 2 will come in the other side. So we're coming to their outside, their right, and we're cutting through that corner and back. So 1 goes to their inside, to their left shoulder, and 2 goes to the right shoulder. So you have to step in with your left foot. So instead of a hitch step, this is a full step, and just get nice as flat as you can, and then turn to do the strike. So the strike in this case, instead of landing when your foot lands, the strike lands when your hip returns. And it's an awkward strike, right? Because you're cutting across your hip turn. But that's something you just got to get used to, right? So let's just do that 10 times. Again, I'm not going to go into much detail on this one because it takes up a lot of our time when we do it. Ready? Itch. And back. Knee. And back. San. And back. Shi. And back. Go. And back. Rook. And back. Sich. And back. Hutch. And back. Q. And back. And Ju. And back. What's happening is you're coming in and you're bringing your sword over here, right? So it's behind me, and now getting from here all the way to basically the other side of my head to do the cut is very difficult. So, your lack of correct start position is causing that problem. So I got right foot forward, I step in basically to the 45 into what's very close to Shikadachi, more like a Kibadachi, but anyway. And the way that I achieve this is that I'm loosening up my grip, right, so that I can do this. And I'm allowing that to essentially lay on top of my elbow. That's the cheat way, but that's a way of understanding where it is relative to your body, right? If I have it here along the straight line and I bring it up and let it go, it basically sits on my elbow. So that's how I manage to keep my sword in a straight line with my body. Let's do a few more of those. That looks good, yeah. We'll just do 5. Ready? Itch. And back. Knee. And back. San. Back. Shi. Back. Go. And back. And yame. That was good. So yeah, and I always have an issue with number 2 because I wish it was number 10, because people always get hung up on number 2 before we even get into any of the others. But we want to do the swatch of all the different things, so I want to keep moving for now. We can come back to 2 if we have time at the end. Okay, so 1 and 2 are coming in close to the line of action, right? We're not actually going to the 45. We're going to maybe 20 degrees. However close we can get our body in both cases. So we want their sword coming close to us and not having to redirect. 3 and 4, we're going to actually get completely out of the way. So just like Taisabaki, we're going to step to the right, step to the left. And in Taisabaki, obviously, we do our kicks. Here, we're going to block, chamber, and cut the elbow. That's number 3. So we're going to the right. Let's come over here and do that again. So I'm going to tip my camera up a bit, I think, so you can see. You don't need to see my feet as much. You can still see my feet. Good. So I come to the right and block across my left arm. Right? So what I want to be doing is almost running it down my arm. The blade needs to be not vertical, it needs to be out a little bit so that if something runs down it, it'll follow the curve of the blade away from your body. And you don't want to have your elbow sticking out like this, right, where the blade isn't protecting it. So you want your elbow behind the blade, which means that your left hand has to relax almost completely, almost not have a grip at all. Right? So think of, think of punching up with your left arm. Right? So the back of your blade, the back of your hilt goes up, so the blade comes down. Right? So you want to be able to look at your enemy. So instead of having your elbow against your blade at the end, you want to bring your elbow out of your eyesight way and just keep your blade out there. And from there, you're going to bring it straight up into the chamber position. Now when I teach this as a 3-step position. I go 1, 2, 3. Most people teach this as 2 steps. They go 1, 2. And the problem with that is, and there are styles that do it this way, is that people have a tendency to bring their blade around like that. Now that's perfectly fine if you're doing an elbow strike, which is what we are, but it doesn't have a lot of momentum on it, because all you have is whatever you're pushing into it. Whereas if you chamber, then you've got the weight of gravity and your sword, and also your pulling down muscles as opposed to your pushing across hip, right? So this will give you a much more defined chop. So let's do this first. Let's just do defense and back, defense and back, defense and back. Okay, ready? Itch and back, knee and back, sun, back, chi, back, gu, back. Good. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to be here. So have your bokeh in cut ready position. So make sure you can see underneath your hilt. You can see where your enemy is. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop it straight down, and when it gets to just about there, which is about 45 degrees, then I'm going to use my hip and front knee and pulling with my rear hand to do that cut. So I'm pulling like this, except for I've turned it with this hand. So I turn it with this hand and I pull it with this hand. So it should come down in what's basically like a J that doesn't come back up, or a very rounded L. So up, cut, up, cut, up, cut, up, cut. So you should feel that hip and that front knee making your cut for you. Otherwise you'll end up really awkward trying to lean into it like this. So you want to keep it smooth by using that knee to make your cut. Okay, let's do that 5 more times. Up, cut, knee, cut, san, cut, shi, cut, go, cut. Alright, so let's put them together. So we're standing right foot forward, we step out to the right and block, and I usually wait till their sword actually touches mine before I chamber and cut. And that just gives them no time to redirect because they've already made their cut and they're out there. And back. Again to the right. Block, chamber, cut, and back. Again, block, chamber, cut, and back. One more like that. Block, chamber, cut, and back. Okay, so now we're going to do it as one movement. The only thing is to try and remember that middle position, right? To go block, chamber, cut, and back, as opposed to block, cut. Ready? Itch, and back, knee, back, san, back, shi, back, go, and back. Okay, so same thing other side except for the opposite, right? So we're right side forward, so now we have to come to the left. So in order to do that, instead of punching up, you're going to pull up with your left and let your right be the one that's got very little grip on it. And again, same thing, you want to be looking through this triangle made by your arm and the blade. Blade should be slightly forward, slightly pointed out, so that if something lands on it, it slides away from the body. Right? It's almost vertical, but not quite. Okay, so let's try that. And let's do it just like we were doing before. So we're going to step out, block, and back. Step out, block, and back. Let me see. Good. Okay, so let's do that 5 times. Hitch, and back, knee, and back, san, and back, shi, and back, go, and back. Alright, so the cut, same thing, right? We're going to come up to chamber and cut the elbow, but this time, instead of turning it this way, now you have to turn it the opposite way. So as you come down, you're turning it with your bottom hand. Your left hand does the turning it, and your right hand is going to drive it. Right, so you're turning with your left and pushing with your right. And that'll give you, same thing with the hip and knee. A little bit easier on this side because of the alignment of the same foot forward and the same arm. Whereas on this side, it always feels a little bit more awkward. So let's just do that, starting with our ready cut position. And we're just going to drop and cut. And back up, drop, cut. Back up, drop, cut. Back up, drop, cut. Back up. One more, drop, cut. And back up. So now we put it together. So we step out to the left, we chamber, drop and cut. Back up and back to right foot forward. So step out with the left, block, chamber, cut, chamber, back to right. Again, step out left, block, chamber, cut, chamber, cut, and back to right. So yeah, don't forget your retreating cut. Again, step out to the left, block, chamber, cut, chamber, cut. Again, left, block, chamber, cut, chamber, cut, as you return to your right. Don't forget your cut, yeah. Alright, again, step left, block, chamber, cut, chamber, step right, cut. Okay, so let's put it together as a single flow. So it'll go step left, block, chamber, cut, back. Again, left, chamber, cut, she, and back, go, and back. Okay, so we're going to go quickly back and forth between those. So we go right, chamber, cut, back, cut, left, chamber, cut, back, cut, right, chamber, cut, back, cut, left, chamber, cut, back, cut, like that. So basically we're doing 3 and 4, back and forth. Ready? 3, and back, 4, and back, 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 and yummy. Okay. Take a moment, I'm just going to put mine back in the scabbard for now. Just take a moment to loosen up your wrists. So other side. Both in front. So you should be doing this with your wrists, so bring them up as you bounce, same on the side. So the impact should be doing that to your wrist. It just loosens them up, so boom, 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 boom. That's good. Good for your shoulders too. Okay. 5 and 6. 5 and 6, so we just did 1 and 2 to the almost straight down the line. We did 3 and 4, step to the side, step to the side. Now we're coming in to the 45. And we're cross-stepping and redirecting towards Uke and dropping. So Uke is coming with their Shomonucci straight down the center. What we're going to do is we're going to meet their sword as it's coming, as close to their hand as possible. Slide down it and turn over. So we're putting weight on their sword. Right? The most common thing that people do here is they just slap it from the side and try and then put weight on it. The finesse part is to come up, touch it very gently, redirect it ever so slightly, and ride it down. Takes a while, takes a lot of timing to figure out that, but that's basically what we're doing. So our first position is not to come to the side and try and smack it, right? Our first position is to reach in, right? Reach in. So our elbows are going to basically just come out from our chest. Our sword doesn't otherwise change its position. We're reaching in, and as we make contact, we just do a slight turn, and then our body drop completes the turn. So coming towards camera, it looks like this. It comes, looks like it's coming for your face, right? Uke's face. It comes in, and then we drop down. Notice my blade doesn't ever even reach horizontal. It wants to be always slightly tipped up. If not, if it's tipped down, their sword can slide up underneath it and get you. So you want to be like this, So your full body weight is able to be applied onto that sword, and its only escape is to go away from you. And once it's away from you, then you can do other things. So, right foot forward, stepping to the 45 and turning, dropping, and once we're basically waiting here for them to try and pull their sword up. So there's tension on our swords. They try and pull it up and we go, okay. Right? Okay. So it goes straight from their sword to their throat. So we're going, depending on how far away they are and how long their sword is, okay, and hitch step in right here under the Adam's apple. I often don't need to step in because my reach is big enough, so I'll often just do it here and then straight here. But technically you should be hitch stepping in. You never know how far away they're going to be. So again, slide in up the center, cross step, turn your hilt over, drop down. Make sure you're not going to horizontal or beyond, and then redirect and come up at the same time. You imagine that they're pulling their sword up because you've got weight on it. They're pulling their sword up and you're going to ride that up. Again, coming in the center, turn, drop, and then turn back and up, up and in, up and tiny hitch step in. Again, up the center, cross step, drop, up. And of course we should really be doing a chop as we return to our position. So okay, let's just iterate that 5 times. Ready? Up the center, turn, drop, turn back, up and back. Again, up the center, turn, drop, and pop, and back. Up the center, turn, drop, pop, and back. Up the center, turn, drop, pop, and back. One more. Up the center, turn, pop, and back. Okay, so 6 is the same thing. So we're going to work them together. Obviously the opposite side. So the only difference is as we come in on the right hand side, we use our right hand to turn over and push down. Now on the other side we have to kind of pull down with the right and use the left to stabilize it, because now we're pulling on our hilt because we're turning the opposite direction with our sword. So 6 is step in with the left, come up the center, cross step, turn, drop, and pop again, and back. Step in with the right, up the center, cross step, drop, turn, pop, and back. Step in with the right, up the center, turn, cross step, and back. She, and back. Go. We're just doing 6 now. So just 6, stepping in with the right, up the center, turn, drop, pop, and back. Step in with the right, up the center, turn, drop, pop, and back. For the attack, you don't have to straighten up your sword. It's perfectly fine if you pop up and go straight at them with your sword on its side still. Some people have difficulty popping up and straightening and attacking. It's perfectly fine to leave it flat. Okay, so let's do 5 and 6 together. So it'll look like this. Sit, back, knee, and back. Ready? Hitch. Back. Knee. Back. San. Back. Shi. Back. Gu. Back. Rook. Back. Sometimes you hit stuff, right? Sich. Back. Hatch. Back. Q. Back. And Ju. Back. And yummy. For number 5, I'm coming on top like that. So this is my top here. The top is facing me, and you know, it's on the inside of the line of action. On 6, it's on the inside of the line of action this way. It's facing me, the blade is facing them. You're coming up the center, and then as much as you step across, as much as you redirect, you're not redirecting towards uke, you're redirecting towards where on their sword you are. So they're still over here, but you need to turn not 90 degrees to their sword, but not this, more like this, right? You want to be fairly close to your body so that you can put maximum weight. The further out, the less weight you can put on it. You want to make your lever smaller, and you want their lever to be longer, right? So you don't want to be too close to their hand, because then they can fight you easier. So you want to be further out, maybe halfway down their sword, closer to your hilt, and kind of at this angle. So you got to turn, use that back foot coming in to turn you and drop you, and then turn you back. When we do the Bokeh Takeaway, right, one of the things we're going to do is they're coming in with a chop, and we come in and we put our hand on their arm, and as their arm comes down, we turn around and slide it to between their hands, right? So it's the same thing here. You're basically, oh, this is your thing, let me follow it, right? So it's almost gentle until they realize you've just jeopardized their movement, right? So it's not here, then here, and it's not here. It's up, down, right? It's a flowing, gentle movement that follows the blade, so you're just doing that. So you can practice this with your hand movements, you know. We practice it doing this one, but with the blade, you're basically coming up the center, over and down, up, over, down. So if you follow the tip of I'm going to keep the thing on here, it goes almost in a nice little curve. And so notice my hand isn't moving too much. What's happening is my body's moving a lot. So that allows you to feel that flow. Same as we're doing the Bokeh Takeaway, where the hands aren't really doing that much. They're coming up, going down, coming up, going down. And it's using your hip and your rear foot to turn you. Okay, so we're just about out of time, so let's get into putting our Bokeh away. So similar to before, we're going to our Bokeh's like this. We put our hand on our scabbard in this case, and I'll just show you with mine, then I'll show you with a Bokeh. So I'm going to bring it across, and I'm coming out like this, so I'm turning my hip, and I'm putting it on the edge of my scabbard, and sliding it down until I feel it. I would normally be looking at my enemy, right? But I feel it tipping, and I slide it in this way, avoiding chopping my fingers off, right? So what it looks like is actually like this. I go here, I bring it down, I'm watching my enemy, I'm just feeling it with my fingers. I put it in, and I step back up. So, with a boken, basically the same thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to make this fish mouth thing with your hand, right? One that you can basically balance the boken on the little V between your two fingers as they touch, and you're going to slide it along there until you feel it leave the knuckle. Then you tip it up and you slide it in. So if this was an actual scabbard, you would have your hand basically in the same position, but with the scabbard all around, so you can feel the edge of the blade, the back of the blade, never feel the blade, the point of the blade. So let's do it like this. We have our boken out. We're going to step forward and tip it back onto our hip. We bring it down, out, up, and back in. Again, starting here, we step out, tip it back, big hip turn. So your hip should be pointing almost 90 degrees. Bring it down, up, and back. And with that, we bow. Arigato gozaimasu. Okay, so that's all we have time for today. Katsuki and Seiza, or standing moxo. Moxo. Moxo yame. Arigato gozaimasu. And thanks again for joining me. I hope to see you again next time.